The night sky above Station Havelock glittered with stars, but I wasn't paying attention to them. I was more interested in the beings walking around me. Aliens of every shape, color, and texture, crowding the bustling orbital market. If you ever wanted to see how small humanity really was, this was the place. I'd been stationed here for 3 months as part of the Earth Alliance Cultural Exchange Program, which was a fancy way of saying, send some humans to see if they can behave around aliens without embarrassing the species. So far I was doing fine. Until I met her. The beginning. Her name was difficult to pronounce, something like Shilithran, but she told me to call her Shay. She was tall, at least a foot taller than me, with shimmering silver skin that reflected light like polished chrome. Her eyes were huge and luminous, shifting colors with her mood. Her hair, if you could call it that, floated around her head in strands of glowing blue. She looked like a sculpture carved from liquid metal and starlight. The first time we spoke was at a vendor's stall selling something that looked suspiciously like fried insects. I tried one to be polite and nearly gagged, but Shay laughed. "You humans are brave," she said, her voice melodic, almost like singing. "Eating what you cannot identify." "Brave," I said, coughing. "Or just stupid?" She tilted her head, studying me. "Perhaps both." From that moment we kept running into each other. At the hydroponic gardens, the observation decks, the market. Every time we talked a little longer. She was endlessly curious about Earth, about our oceans, our art, our food, especially chocolate. In turn, I was fascinated by her people, the Veari, who were explorers of thought as much as of space. They valued humor, creativity, and storytelling above almost everything else. It should have been obvious that one day, humor would get me in trouble. The middle. We were sitting together in the atrium one evening, a vast glass dome giving us a view of a swirling gas giant below. The station lights were dimmed to simulate twilight, and a soft hum filled the air. Shay was explaining how her species' bodies were partially liquid and partially crystalline, able to shift between states. I don't know what possessed me, but I blurted, "So basically, your body's like jello wrapped around a disco ball?" Silence. The words hung in the air like a fragile bubble. I immediately regretted it. You don't make body jokes with someone whose culture you barely understand. Her luminous eyes widened, shifting through a spectrum of colors I couldn't interpret. My stomach twisted. I opened my mouth to apologize, but then something unexpected happened. She laughed. Not a polite laugh. Not a forced chuckle. A full-bodied, musical, cascading laugh that echoed in the dome and made nearby aliens turn to look at us. "You compare me to your gelatinous desserts," she managed between giggles. "Yes," said cautiously. "I didn't mean it in a bad way. More like, you're dazzling and, kind of mesmerizing." She leaned closer, eyes glowing a brilliant violet. "Humans and your strange metaphors. I like it." Instead of offense, she took it as a compliment. From that moment something changed between us. She began teasing me back. "Tell me," she said another day, "are all human males shaped like thin branches, or is it only you?" I sputtered. "Branches. Hey, I work out." Her grin widened. "Where?" "At the library." The banter became our rhythm. Jokes, playful insults, laughter. What began as cultural exchange turned into friendship, and friendship into something deeper. But there was always a shadow hanging over us. The Veari were not permanent residents anywhere. Their bodies required rare minerals and specific energy frequencies to survive long-term. They never stayed in one place for more than a season. And Shay had already told me, she was leaving soon. The conflict. The day came faster than I expected. She told me at the docks, where sleek, crystalline ships waited, humming with power. The Veari were departing for another star system. You knew this was temporary, she said gently, touching my arm with fingers that shimmered like molten silver. Do not grieve. I know, I said, my throat tight. But knowing doesn't make it easier. She studied me with those color-shifting eyes. Perhaps it is not the end. That gave me a spark of hope. But before I could ask, alarms blared through the station. The docking bay shuddered as a shockwave hit. The Havelock was under attack. Ships on the fringe of civilized space always attracted raiders, but I had never been in the middle of one. Explosions rocked the station. People, human and alien, ran for cover. The pirates wanted cargo, ships, hostages. Shay grabbed my hand. This way. We sprinted down a corridor as fire suppression systems hissed overhead. A blast door sealed behind us, cutting off the chaos for a moment. My heart hammered. What do we do? Asked. She tilted her head. We fight. You mean you fight, right? Because I've got about as much combat training as a wet sponge. Her eyes gleamed. Then stay behind me. We pushed forward, encountering two pirates armed with plasma rifles. Shay moved faster than I could follow. Her body shimmered, parts of her liquefying, reshaping. She disarmed one pirate with a fluid strike, then enveloped the other in a metallic wave that solidified instantly, trapping him like amber. I stood frozen, jaw hanging. She turned to me, a sly smile on her glowing lips. Still think I am jello wrapped around a disco ball? Despite the danger, I laughed. Definitely upgraded to titanium jello. We fought our way through chaos side by side. Me stumbling, trying not to get shot. Shay, a living weapon of grace and light. Together, we made it to the command center where station security was regrouping. With her help, the defenses were stabilized, and the pirates retreated. But the damage was done. Several ships, including the Veari vessels, were destroyed. Shay was stranded. The aftermath. For weeks, the station worked to rebuild. Shay and the surviving Veari stayed, integrating more closely with humans than ever before. She and I spent almost every moment together. Sometimes working in the gardens, sometimes teaching each other games, sometimes just sitting in the observation dome watching the stars. The bond between us deepened. What had started as curiosity, as jokes, had become something neither of us could ignore. One night she asked me, "Why do humans use humor when they are afraid or sad?" Thought about it. Because laughter makes heavy things lighter. It's how we survive. She nodded slowly, eyes glowing soft blue. Then perhaps. Understand now. Your joke about my body was not insult. It was survival. A way to ease tension. And because I thought you were amazing, I added. Her eyes shifted violet again, the color I'd come to recognize as affection. She leaned close, and for the first time our foreheads touched. It wasn't a human kiss, but for her people it was intimate. The ending. Months passed. The station finally arranged passage for the Veari to continue their journey. The day of departure came again, and this time there were no pirates to stop it. At the docks, she stood before me, glowing softly in the ship's light. I must go. But I will carry your words, your laughter with me. I swallowed hard. And I'll carry the memory of a disco ball jello warrior princess.